everybody, it is me, Gannon here, back with another Star Trek review, and today we are going to be reviewing Star Trek Lower Decks Season 2, Episode 8, titled Excretus. Sorry if I look homeless, by the way. Between me working on YouTube and being at my job and running errands this week, I've just kind of been slipping in naps where I can, and so I definitely just woke up. Bittersweet feeling knowing we only have a couple more episodes left in the season of Lower Decks. This show truly is so short and sweet, and I can't wait to go back and binge a bunch of these episodes one day after it's been out for a while and there's at least 3 or 4 seasons. Currently watching through a bunch of the Next Generation episodes right now while painting my Warhammer minis, and it's just always such a good time doing that. This episode starts out with a funny opening scene where the Lower Deckers are left stranded on a satellite while the Cerritos zips away and goes to assist some ship that's caught in a temporal loop. I think this is a reference to the Voyager episode where Tom and B'Elanna finally get together after almost dying together, drifting in space. After the Lower Deckers get their lungs rejuvenated, Mariner feels really left behind and just plain out neglected by the senior staff, even though it's clear that both are a little bit to blame because Mariner did not follow protocol when taking the grav suit boots. Then they're told that the whole ship is going to be participating in these drills, and we learn that they're being hosted by this really cool alien lady who is Pandronian. Now, I gotta be careful here when I say this because, I have not seen the animated series yet. I keep on putting it off. I think I got the 2 cat races mixed up in one of my previous reviews, the Caitians and the Kzinti, or whatever they're called. I don't know. I think I originally tried watching an episode ages ago and I just could not do it. It was just not clicking and it was not connecting. I was not enjoying it as much as I do typical Star Trek. Pandronians are able to split up into multiple parts, and they were shown in the animated series episode titled Bem, and it's actually really cool that Lower Decks is showing so much of the animated series and it's giving it this much love. A lot of people are basically coming to me and saying this is implications that the animated series is now canon, which, I don't know how viable that is, but it certainly is exciting, and I would definitely not mind seeing that. The Pandroni explains that they'll be doing drills in the state-of-the-art simulators where the senior staff are going to switch roles with the Lower Deckers, and this really excites Mariner. Also, I just gotta mention, I was really messing with the overall energy that the Pandronian was putting out initially when they were introduced, but I think that was kind of intentional. As you'll see later on, they were up to some BS. Mariner's initial simulation is her going into a mirror universe where she's tasked with finding a way to escape. This is so awesome, and it's just a gross exaggeration of the mirror universe, and it's also just such a good time seeing Boimler in there as well, doing this weird screech as he exposes Mariner. Kind of strange to see Mariner fail things, I was thinking. So, she's slightly a Mary Sue. She really is perfect at everything. Tendy's simulation is also a failure, and it's definitely a reference to this TNG episode I definitely watched earlier this week, where Worf loses the ability to walk and request ritual suicide from his friends. A ridiculous doctor scene ensues, and then Tendy fails her simulation as well. So basically, at this point in the episode, I'm thinking that all these simulations are incredibly cool and explicit references to points all across Star Trek. There's a reference to the motion picture or either the Wrath of Khan. I can't exactly remember right now which is the one where Scotty's nephew dies, but that's basically what Rutherford's initial simulation is. Boimler is put into this Borg simulation, and he's seemingly the only one who is able to pass any of the sims, and he's really adamant on getting just the perfect score. He keeps on doing it over and over and over again till the end of the episode. The simulations end with Mariner failing another one. It's an explicit reference to the episode of TNG where Data and Tasha Yar basically, they do the nasty. There's this wild scene where everybody on the ship is naked and having sex, and it really scares Mariner into actually jumping out of an airlock. Initially, the senior staff are relishing how easy it is to be a Lower Decker in their simulations, saying how it's a simple existence free of responsibility, but then they quickly realize how frustrating it can be to be forced to do menial labor and simple tasks while actual cool things are happening aboard the starship. The final test is this cool simulation where the Lower Deckers and senior staff do a combined simulation on the bridge. They excite us with this idea of them going to rescue Spock from a space station, but actually Mariner and Captain Freeman fight and allow the ship to blow up before even entering the starbase. Mariner and the captain come to the conclusion that this just must have been a tool to allow them to see and empathize with one another's position, and that it's not always how you perceive it to be from your perspective. And while, that would normally be the the takeaway in a regular show, this is Lower Decks, so there's obviously got to be some shenanigans going on. When they confront the Pandronian drill instructor about it, she has a Joker moment and shares that she intentionally rigged all the drills so that the crew of the Cerritos would intentionally fail, making her test seem more viable in the eyes of Starfleet, saving her job and her position. Since Boimler is still in the simulation, they're actually given an opportunity to redo their own drills, except they don't really do that at all. What they do is they just keep the simulation running. The Pandronian floats around like Buggy the Clown from One Piece, making memes about how they're the smallest ship in the fleet and nobody even really knows they exist, which from the perception of the viewer, this is really true on multiple levels, just from like a canon standpoint and also just from like what we see as viewers. The episode ends off with them charging into a crystalline entity, which is, you know, huge TNG reference. The crystalline entity shows up in multiple episodes, and they intentionally seek out dangerous situations in order to scare the Pandronian into changing their scores to passing. They kind of forget about Boimler, and he's assimilated inside his own drill, becoming Borgler, or aka they call him Excretus of Borg, which is just a poo joke. This episode was insane. Like, in so many levels, there's just good references that I love seeing. It was really raunchy in all the best ways. This episode was really strong, and I loved seeing all the simulations, and the cool visuals at the end was just the icing on top of the cake when they were actually traveling through the black hole. I constantly am impressed with how well animated Lower Decks is as a series. So finally, with all that being said, this episode was really above average in a lot of ways, and I'm going to be giving it an above average score for sure of 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching another one of my Star Trek reviews. I definitely wanted to tackle this one and get it out of the way. I have yet to even consume dinner today, so as soon as I get this uploaded, I think I'm going to go eat some rice and tofu. If you enjoyed the video, please slap a like on it. If you're enjoying the content that you see on the channel, I would be very flattered if you were to subscribe. Please leave a comment down below. I love comments. They're my favorite thing about YouTube. And with all that being said, I'm going to have to see you guys in the next one. Live long and prosper.